Hey there, my friend. I'm so glad you're here. Reputation is such a strange thing, isn't it? It's rarely about the full truth. It's more about perception, and that perception can be colored by jealousy, projection, misunderstanding, or just someone's refusal to truly see you. There are people out there who made up their minds about you not based on who you are, but based on who you were in the process of becoming. And the thing is, you didn't argue with them. You didn't waste time defending yourself. You let them talk. You let them believe whatever they wanted to believe. They thought they were watching your downfall. But what they didn't know was that they were actually witnessing your quiet rise. And now, something in the unseen has shifted. There's a divine interruption taking place. One that doesn't require you to explain yourself. One that doesn't demand a performance or a comeback tour. This isn't about revenge. This is about revelation, a clear, undeniable revelation that speaks louder than any rumor ever could, because here's what they missed: you were never going to stay stuck in the version of yourself they tried to box you into. They didn't see the work you were doing in silence. They didn't realize how deep your healing was going. They underestimated your transformation. They didn't account for what happens when God works behind the scenes, strengthening your character, deepening your voice, and sharpening your purpose. You didn't rush to prove yourself. And that was powerful. Even when it hurt, even when it felt like the world had gone quiet, you let the silence carry the weight. You allowed time to reveal what intentions could never show. And now comes the unveiling. Not of you, but of them. The ones who tried to shrink your light because it made them uncomfortable. The ones who called your depth too much because they were committed to staying shallow. The ones who whispered behind your back, hoping their words would move faster than your truth. But God's about to flip that. He's making sure the truth outruns every single whisper. And it's not going to be loud or dramatic. It's going to be surgical. You'll walk into rooms that used to feel heavy with avoidance, and this time, they won't be able to look away. You'll say the same truths you used to say, and this time, they'll land. You'll show up in the same energy you've always carried, and this time, they'll finally feel the weight of it. Here's what's happening: something in your energy has shifted. And at the same time, God is changing the way people perceive you. He's adjusting the lens. Not to boost your ego, but to restore accuracy. This isn't some surface-level glow-up. This is a deep, divine correction of the story that's been told about you. You weren't trying to impress anyone. You were healing. Quietly. Intentionally. And because your transformation didn't come with a big announcement, they assumed nothing had changed. They were wrong. This isn't karma. This isn't retaliation. This is God saying, enough. Enough with the false narratives. Enough with the mislabels. It's time for the truth to catch up. It's time for you to be seen clearly, not through noise, not through hype, but through alignment. You never needed a spotlight. You just needed alignment. And now, that alignment is starting to shine through. You'll start to notice it. The way people address you has changed. The way certain doors open, with respect already baked in. The way those who once dismissed you now pause before they speak your name. That hesitation. That's recognition. That's reverence, and none of it came from chasing anything. It came from becoming. From staying faithful. From doing the hard, inner work when no one was watching. This is what it looks like when heaven starts to speak for you. You don't need to defend yourself anymore. You don't have to explain your journey. Your presence will do that for you. It's not about making a grand entrance. It's about showing up with clarity, with peace, with a presence that can't be ignored. And finally, it will be impossible for people to mislabel you again. But let's get real for a moment. No one talks about this part, the season after rejection. The one that feels like a void. Like everything's gone quiet. You carry yourself with grace, sure, but inside, the doubts start piling up. Was I wrong? Did I imagine the calling? Maybe they were right. But something deep inside wouldn't let go of the truth. Not because you were delusional. Not because you were clinging to a fantasy. But because you knew there was something holy, something sacred, embedded in your story that the world just hadn't caught up with yet. You've lived for a while in that in-between space, the one where you almost made it. The one where people couldn't quite put their finger on you. Too spiritual for some, too grounded for others. Too aware to play dumb. Too kind to become bitter. You've stood tall while being picked apart, misunderstood, and second-guessed by people who never cared to look past the surface. But that season, it's closing, because right now, heaven is stepping in, not to puff you up, but to set the record straight. When God decides it's your time, He doesn't take a poll. He doesn't ask for permission. And when favor starts moving on your behalf, there's no force on earth that can stop it. Here's what I want you to hear clearly: your reputation isn't just being restored. It's being rewritten. From the inside out, people saw your silence and thought it was weakness. They saw your patience and assumed it was passivity. They looked at your humility and decided you weren't ready. But it was never weakness, it was strategy. And now the timing has shifted. This is the season where your alignment begins to speak louder than any assumption ever made about you. This is the moment when those same opportunities that once passed you by start coming back around, and this time, they stop right in front of you. Why? Because heaven already stamped approved on what used to be denied. That you'll know this shift is real, not because everyone suddenly treats you better, but because the resistance starts to sound more like reverence. The energy changes. The ones who used to downplay you, they hesitate now. They stammer a little. They speak slower when your name comes up. Not because they've had some deep transformation, but because they can no longer deny what you carry. They thought you were just another dreamer, but now they're starting to realize. You were always the blueprint, and the wildest part. You didn't get here by chasing anything. You didn't campaign for a platform. You didn't force your way into rooms. You just kept becoming, steadily, quietly, while no one was looking. You became anchored when the world felt chaotic. You became generous when you barely had enough. You became wise by studying your pain. And all of that became the foundation you're standing on now. So when people ask, where did this come from? The truth is, it was always there. It just wasn't time for them to see it yet. This isn't about promotion. It's not some viral moment or PR stunt. It's deeper. This is spiritual. This is what it looks like when the roots you've planted in secret finally break through the surface. You looked like a late bloomer, but you weren't late. You were being backed by heaven. And when God is backing you, there's no person, no opinion, no closed door that can block what's been set in motion, because reputation isn't just what people say. It's what your life begins to echo, and your life, it's starting to echo something new. You're going to feel it before anyone says it. It won't just show up as recognition from others, it'll feel like peace in your body. You'll walk into spaces that used to drain you or trigger you, and this time, you'll feel unshaken. The opinions that used to define your mood, they'll bounce off you like they were never yours to carry. The envy, the projection, you'll recognize it, but you'll keep walking past it. No need to engage. Why? Because your reputation is no longer something you're trying to manage. It's something God is managing for you. And you're about to see what that kind of divine management looks like in real time. For some of you, what's coming next won't make any logical sense based on what's on paper. Your resume, your credentials, your stats, they won't explain what shows up. Why? Because this next season isn't about formula. It's about favor. You'll find yourself in rooms you didn't even apply to be in. Your name will be mentioned in places your feet haven't stepped into yet, and it won't be because you shouted the loudest. It'll be because your authenticity, your becoming, finally reached critical mass. You stopped asking people to see you through the lens of who you used to be. You stopped shrinking to fit their version of your story. You stopped translating your spirit into something more palatable for people committed to misunderstanding you, and now everything's catching up. You'll see it in the shift. The people who watched you from the sidelines, quietly, skeptically, are about to start speaking up. The ones who dismissed you will start changing their tone. Not with apologies, but with curiosity. Because they can't ignore the clarity anymore. They might not say it out loud, but the way they approach you will say everything, and you don't need to rub it in. You don't need an "I told you so." You don't need revenge, because this is better. This is what it looks like when God clears the fog from your reflection. You're not being introduced. You're being revealed. And that's a whole different level. Because anybody can fake their way into a moment. Anybody can create a temporary splash. But only the chosen get elevated by alignment. Only those who kept their soul intact get positioned with peace, and that's you. You didn't fight to be seen. You fought to stay true while being unseen. You held on to your values. You stayed grounded. You moved with integrity even when no one was watching. That's why this shift isn't just public, it's permanent. So now, walk forward with confidence. Not arrogance. Not force. Just a quiet, unshakable assurance. You don't have to convince anyone anymore. Your walk does that. Your presence speaks before you even open your mouth. And your story? It's finally being told the right way, because they're not just seeing you now, they're seeing who you've always been, and once they see that, they won't be able to look away.